The acting head of the Social Democrats there, Olaf Scholz, speaking after that momentous decision. And let's talk more about the implications for Germany and Europe. We have here in studio Simon Young, our political editor, also Job Janssen with us, journalist, and Michele Küffner is standing by for us also at the SPD headquarters. Good to have you all with us. Michele, let's start with you because you have been speaking to some people there. You were there live as the results were read out. Give us an idea of what the sentiment is there at the moment.
Well, there is a sense of relief, but there also is a sober realization on the side of those who were firmly against going into another coalition with Angela Merkel, that this now is a political reality. We heard from Kevin Kühnert, who was also here. He's the head of the youth wing of the Social Democrats, and he spearheaded this No GroKo campaign, which actually saw tens of thousands of people join the party, many young people in the party being energized, coming out against this grand coalition, calling for renewal within the party. Well, he now said he would, of course, accept this result. It's a strong result. It actually is stronger than expected, than many had expected. But at the same time, he said that there needs to be renewal in the party. And he also hinted that integrating him into a leading position wouldn't be enough to silence those calls, because he said this was not just about appointing people, about people in positions, but that there needed to be a real change and a real debate within the Social Democrats. Grassroots, the big question now is, can the party do this at the same time as having to play a political partner and junior partner, that is, of Angela Merkel in the coming grand coalition, one can now say?
So, of course, a lot of questions, Michele, going forward. And Simon, we're also seeing some reactions. What have we been hearing from here in Berlin?
Yeah, the former SPD leader, Martin Schulz, has said that he's relieved about this result and that this will bring Germany and Europe forward and strengthen the SPD. Some will say, well, that's rich coming from him. He's the man who's put the SPD in a difficult position over the last year and had to resign as leader as a result. We heard from the senior Conservative Peter Altmaier also tweeting out, forward with Germany, forward with Europe, a very positive type of reaction. Less positive from the head of the Left Party. Of course, they always criticise the SPD for not being socialist enough, and that's what he's done today. The leader, Dietmar Bartsch, saying that, this coalition agreement that the government's going to be based on leaves all sorts of burning social questions unanswered, and that third of SPD members who voted against it, clearly are a sign that a lot of people are not happy with the Grand Coalition. So some initial reactions there.
Yes, a mixed bag, Job. How do you see this result? The fact that the Social Democrats have said, yes, we are going to enter another coalition government with Chancellor Merkel's Conservatives.
Yeah, I think both Merkel and the SPD will feel some kind of a relief. But I think many people within the party will also be worried since within the CDU, Merkel has been attacked frequently and recently, so her position is slightly weakened. She is in a coalition with a party that has a leadership crisis and a crisis about the political course that could affect the efficiency of Germany in Europe. So there is a lot of work ahead, and it's not being said that Germany will keep this leading role in Europe as they had in the last years.
A lot of work ahead, and as Simon was saying, a lot of concerns about what that work is going to look like going forward. And Michele, coming back to you now, what are the next steps? We now we have passed this final hurdle, rather. What will we see happen next in Berlin?
Well, we hear that there will be a meeting with German Chancellor Angela Merkel on Wednesday. Of course, there were immediately questions also from us, who will be those ministers, those 6 ministers joining Angela Merkel's cabinet from the Social Democrat side. Here, Olaf Scholz, the interim party leader, was holding those cards very close to his chest. He said that they would now take the time that they needed, so this could take all of this week. We'll learn, hopefully, over the coming days. With him, of course, being tipped as potentially being finance minister, but he wouldn't really be drawn on that. And we do expect German Chancellor Angela Merkel to actually become a German Chancellor on the 14th of March. So we could actually see a government now before Easter. So after these 5 months, one failed attempt to forge a coalition with the pro-business Free Democrats and the Greens. And then really we went full circle to coming back to a continuation, effectively, of the Grand Coalition, which will bring many domestic policy changes, but really not that terribly terribly much in terms of foreign policy.
Okay, so Michaela, you're saying there that the Chancellor will be likely voted back in. That's what we're expecting to be the Chancellor for another 4 years, Simon. She has come through this process, but not unscathed, has she?
She's lost a lot of popularity over recent months, and that's partly down to this uncertainty that's been hanging over the whole process for nearly 6 months since the election, but also increasing criticisms from within her own party, not just from the Bavarian Conservatives, who are always the awkward squad, but, you know, people like Jens Spahn, who she's now brought into her cabinet lineup, and others have been, you know, saying that they're not happy, they don't like the left-wing elements that she has, or the very, very centre-left approach that she has. They want to see more conservative stamps on policy going forward, and Angela Merkel has tried to answer that by bringing critics into the cabinet, by reshuffling. She'll now be the oldest member of her government at 63, and you know, so there's fresh blood in there, and possibly we'll see a new style in politics, certainly a new style in Parliament, with 6 parties battling it out, and a lot of different strands within the parties, you know, vying for prominence in the political debate.
And Job, this is a moment a lot of people have been waiting for. Now there is a new government that's going to be in place. Is this going to bring the stability to Germany that people have been hoping for? Certainly Chancellor Merkel has been hoping for.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, I think. I'm not sure about that yet. The opposition is much stronger than in the last 4 years. The AfD will definitely try to get this conservative flank within Merkel's party on their side. And that can, you know, draw the SPD and the CDU-CSU away from each other. So, and also the SPD will find, you know, competition on the left side. So it's going to be very tense times.
All right, tense times ahead, and as we've been saying, a lot of work and questions still remaining up in the air for Chancellor Merkel and her new government. We have Simon Young with us in the studio, Job Janssen, and Michaela Kufner, who's been covering all of this for us at the SPD party headquarters. Thank you all for your analysis.